We're
Hey.
live. Woo woo. Aloha, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Mermaid Nina here with our weekly live. Of course, as usual, we will be discussing planning your Disney vacation. So please let us know if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything that you want to discuss about your upcoming Disney trip or what you're thinking about planning. But our goal for tonight is, well, it's almost 2021, guys.
Yeah.
2020 is almost over.
I'm so getting ready my menu for tomorrow night.
Ooh, you cooking big?
I'm cooking big, yes. So some smoked
Awesome.
prime rib, some wings. Just we're doing it up well. So
Awesome. We are doing a Jurassic Park marathon where we have all the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World DVDs, and we are going to watch them from start to finish and make it a dinosaur New Year's Eve.
all right.
That's how we rock it.
No plans.
Yeah, that's how we rock it crazy style. Bridget has no plans.
I work until 4 o'clock tomorrow, so I'm kind of like, meh.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So 2021. So the first thing I want to talk about is what your personal goals are before we get into the Disney stuff. Do you guys have any personal goals that you're kind of, not necessarily resolutions, I don't really do that, but things that you're trying to accomplish for 2021? I know Bridget had a big announcement towards the end of the year, so she's got some stuff to do. Nick has been talking about this RV for months.
Oh, there's been news on this week that not great news. So, but we'll share that in a moment.
So why don't we start with Nick at Who Dat Travel? What is your personal non-Disney related kind of just goal for 2021?
Well, it is to make it through, number one, because 2020 has been a heck of a year. So we're hoping that it's on the upward trend rather than the downward trend still. So so we can only hope. But for 2021, we are hoping to travel a little bit more. This is the last year of my little man being able to actually fly for free. So we want to take advantage of that. He's 18 months old right now. So we have, a year and a half left, but we really want to get as much travel in as we can and safely, of course. The wife and I both work from home. Unfortunately, YouTube, spoiler alert, is not my full-time job. So I have a real job. Yeah, I know. It's sad, but it's not. But so both of us are allowed to work from home. So we're actually have been thinking about working from different spots in the United States. So that is a goal that we're doing. We've looked at several different options. Living down in Florida for a month, living in Hawaii for a month, living in just Arizona for a month. We've doing a lot of different looking there, but is to really travel. Travel is something that's near and dear to my heart. It always has been. I find that I have a lot of personal growth when I travel. And I want to instill that into my son. He's done a lot of traveling already at 18 months. But it's never too young to be able to experience things, and to do that. So that's my goal, is to travel a little bit more safely, and instill that into my son. So
awesome. What happened to the RV? If you can summarize it.
The RV, it got broke into at the shop.
Oh no.
Wait. Yeah. So it was in your driveway. You sent it to a shop, and then someone broke into it?
There's some engine issues because it had sat for 15 years and mice got in it. Not the good mice that we all like.
Not Mickey and Minnie.
Not Mickey and Minnie. No, they're distant cousins that are just ruffians. They got into it, and they got into the engine actually even. While it was at the shop, and this is in 1988, it's an older motorhome. So parts are difficult to get. And with everything that's been going on with the pandemic, it's even harder to get parts. So it has been sitting at the shop, and somebody used a crowbar and broke into it. So
does insurance cover this?
Insurance is going to cover it. The shop's insurance covers a lot of it too. Good. So it's a minor inconvenience. It's, it could have been way worse. They could have just wrote me a check for it, which wouldn't have all been bad either. But unfortunately, not that bad.
So it's not like I totaled my car and I get a new car worth this value.
No. Unfortunately, it's not that, or fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure yet. It's not that bad. So I'm glad for that. But we told the guy originally we'd wanted to be in the motorhome for all of January. Well, with everything that's gone on, it's just not going to be possible. So we're going to push. Yeah, that's in 2 days. So obviously, that's not going to happen. But we're going to hopefully push down to like September, maybe. A cooler time that allows me to redo all of the inside. Yeah, cooler-ish. It won't tax my air conditioner quite as much. Let's just put it that way. Full blast.
Cool.
So yeah, it's still going. It's just a little bit of a setback because they've got to do some work to the door now and do some other stuff. But it's all part of the story, all part of the game. I'm not all bent out of shape, but the door is. So
at least it's just the door.
What's that?
At least it's just the door.
Oh yeah, it's just the door. They did a little bit of damage on the inside, but we were going to be repainting and doing stuff anyway, so it's really not all that big of a deal. So it could have been way worse. So
well, that's goodish.
Yeah, goodish. Yeah.
What about you, Bridget? What are your personal 2021 goals?
Sure. So this year I actually lost like 35 pounds.
Wow.
About halfway to my goal. So
I found it. Thanks a lot.
I'm looking to
just
lose
went up the
screen for that. And along with it, I had a big announcement in early December on my trip.
So your left hand gained weight.
Yes.
That'll happen.
So we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, whether we're going to have a wedding, whether we elope, whether we, I don't know, go on a cruise and get married if cruises are a thing. I'd love to travel, but we're going to see what 2021 takes us. We're kind of just playing it, pun not intended, by ear.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's smart just because 2020 was such a who.
What day is it?
2021 could. Yeah. What? Sorry, Nick.
What day is it? Where am I? I don't even know. Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. I still remember when the state that I live in, the governor said, we're going to do this for 14 days. That was 9 months.
When I was told I was going to get a 14-day vacation.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's been 9 months. So
I thankfully went back to work, but
exactly, yes. So
someday.
But Nina, how about you? What are your goals for 2021?
Well, I'm trying to think realistically about it all because 2020 kind of knocked me off my socks. And I realize everyone can say that, but I'm a travel agent. So as soon as COVID hit, as soon as Disney said, we're closing down, my job, my business went from woohoo to flat. So I'm just in this weird period where I am trying to bring myself back up. And of course, that's all dependent on COVID and vaccines and people feeling comfortable and all that stuff. So I'm trying to be realistic about my goals. And I think one thing that I'm always kind of planning to do, but I haven't really quite done it, is be more minimalistic, if that makes sense. So I'm all about recycling and reusing and not having a bunch of crap all over the house. And I'm thinking this year I'm going to be a little bit better at that and kind of purchase less and try to clean up more.
Book recommendation. If you like to read, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo.
Oh, good to know. Yeah, I think one of my other big issues, as you guys know, people who watch my channel, is I'm a shopper. I love to shop. I own hundreds of these things. Don't tell my husband. I own baby Yodas. I bought all the toys from McDonald's. Like, I just need to stop and clean. And when I buy something, I need to say, do you really need this? Because otherwise we live pretty much a basic life at our house because we do save money for travel. Travel is obviously really important to us. So all of our money does go into our trips. But there's a few things around here that I could definitely. So I think that's my goal, is to just be a little bit more minimalistic, purchase less, use less. And maybe I'll just get so busy with work, I won't get to do my goal, and that will be good too. So.
Well, speaking of work, if anybody has noticed, there is a ton of stuff going on with Disney right now, and a ton of stuff that has been going on with discounts. And they are obviously trying to ramp up business with everything going on. So, Nina, how about you explain a little bit about that right now? Because there is a ton there.
Yeah, awesome. So before we get into kind of like the funds of everything and rides and restaurants for 2021.
Hey, this is fun. It's saving money.
It's stuff you got to know, right? So if you are booking a Disney resort vacation, if you are booking on a Disney property with tickets, kind of like the whole inclusive thing, which by the way is something I do for a living and I can do for you free of charge, by the way. There are a few changes that 2020, 2019, 2018 have always done. It was kind of like staples. And 2021 was like, not doing it this year. So there are things that you guys need to know. I talked to a client today for about an hour because she did not know about these changes. So I'm going to present them to you. First of all, right now, Disney is having a huge discount for resort rooms, up to 35% off. And this is from now up until spring. This is a really good discount. And yes, it's something I can hook you up with. But come January 5th, they're doing something where they're going to give you a couple of days worth of tickets for free with purchase of a couple of day tickets. But I'm going to tell you right now, scoring 35% off your room is most likely going to be a better deal than to get a couple of free tickets. Why do you ask? It's because once you purchase a 4 or 5 day ticket, it's like 10 to 15 bucks to add on that 6th day, that 7th day, that 8th day ticket. So you're not really saving that much, but getting 35% off your room reservation could save you hundreds, if not thousands, depending on your resort. So that's something to kind of know about when it comes to discounts. I know for my clients, I will apply both discounts and see which one does better. Obviously, you can't combine discounts. You can't get them both, but one is usually more superior than the other. Now, the really, really big news for packages 2021 are these bad boys. Magic Bands. Magic Bands have always been free. They are no longer free with your Disney Resort package. But I was told by a cast member, these babies are only going to be about $5 to $10. So not free, but not exactly breaking the bank. And I don't know, Nick, you don't stay on property, but do you guys use these?
Exclusively.
So
I would recommend to anybody on property or off property, especially if you have the memory maker, which, spoiler, get memory maker. I absolutely get it. Even without the use of FastPass right now, it is just nice to be able to go ding and you're in.
You don't even have to scan your finger anymore.
And you don't have to scan your finger. So you're gone. There's no fumbling around in my pocket for my card. There's no where to put my card. There's no, it just done.
So what Disney is saying is, hey, we know you love Magic Bands, but so many people have inquired about just using their phone. So right now, Disney is working on a system that is making your phone the exact same amount of capabilities as your Magic Bands. So therefore,
I will admit that you're opening up a whole thing because I'm a tech guy. That's what I do for a living. I'm a tech guy. I use my phone enough as it is at Disney that I carry, and I wish I had it with me, I carry a 20,000 milliamp battery with me. I'm talking one that's this big and this thick. Now, granted, I've got cameras. I do YouTube. So I'm charging those. I'm charging my phone. I'm charging my wife's phone, and soon to be charging anything that little man has that has a battery too. We try to keep them away from screen time. We try. At Disney, it's actually fairly easy. There's a ton going on.
Good luck at Disney.
We're actually doing really well right now because he's with everything else.
Right. I usually tell my clients it's a good thing to have as a backup, because if you unexpectedly get in a long line and someone's a little cranky pants, to be able to say, boom.
How dare you talk about my wife being cranky like that?
Sorry, the wife.
Hey, I was going to say me, but that was just too much of a given. So, but
I was referring to Nick, by the way, not little man, not the wife, but cranky Nick. So as Nick was saying, the thing about it is these are just so convenient. You wear them on your wrist, and the thought of you having to get out your phone seems easy enough, except I'm going to use the example of being a parent, except when you're holding your kid's hand and the stroller and the diaper bag and the backpack and someone's plush and someone's sippy cup and someone's whatever, and you're trying to dig in your pocket to get out your phone so you can scan it. Meanwhile, you could just be like, boop.
Inevitably, my phone is in the wrong pocket, no matter what. If I've got little man here, it's going to be in that pocket, inevitably.
What, Bridget?
I'm going to bring up a non-child related thing. So you've been on Instagram, you've been on Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, you've been sharing your vacation
everywhere. You're talking about? I have no clue. I'm old. Look at the gray in the beard.
You go to get back to your hotel room. You don't have a magic band, though. You got to use your phone as your room key. You open the app, your phone dies. You don't have a backup charger with you, or you've used your backup charger all the way. What are you going to do if you don't have your magic band? Now you have your magic band, you're still good to get into your room. You don't have a magic band? Looks like you're heading down to the front desk for some help.
All right. So long story short, these are no longer free, but they are worth the price. So the plain boring ones, as you see here, we just kind of mixed the puck, which I have a video on how to do this on my channel. $5 to $10 per person, done, no drama. If you want the cute character ones, which we also have, those are going to be the $10 to $20. So no longer free, but not exactly breaking the bank. Another big change that was just announced, in fact, Bridget actually asked me what was going to happen with these things. And I was waiting for Disney's announcement, even though I knew the answer. So for those of you who have done a package in 2020, you will know that you get a box with these, and it comes with these. This, of course, being the cute Disney luggage tag that comes free with your Disney Resort package. And for those of you who have opened the other side of the box, you will have this.
Not me. Didn't know that was in there.
This is your Magical Extras card, which gives you discounts over at Disney Springs. Now, with the card, you get, look, I have so many cards here. You get coupons to World of Disney and miniature golf. Disney's actually saying you can play miniature golf for free once per your trip. It's these coupons. But if you don't go to look for the coupons, you don't know they're there, you might throw them out in the box. But here's the change for 2021. Because you're not getting a box with magic bands anymore, usually you get all this together, they're going to tell you to pick these up at your resort front desk. Now, you might think, oh, that's okay. I'll go to the front desk. I'll pick up my pretty little luggage tag. I'll pick up my coupons. No big deal. But most people want these luggage tags before their trip, right, to decorate their luggage. I have a lot of clients who want to use these as a way to tell their kids that they're going to Disney, like this is like part of the surprise, are these luggage tags. Not to mention, we're trying to be like socially distant here. So they're encouraging people to do online check-in, yet they want you to go to the desk to pick these up.
Sounds like that missed the mark a little.
It's just very kind of misleading. So I'm wondering if Disney's going to change the policy on that. But for right now, these are the big changes. You pick these up at the front desk. This you now pay for. So those are the really big changes for packages in 2021. But there's a few things that I want to talk about with you guys that have been announced that are changing. So the first big one is park hoppers. They're coming back.
2 days.
They're coming back, guys. Park hoppers. They're about $90 per person to add to your package. They are good for whether you go for 1 day or 20 days, but they're not the same. Highly recommended. We love hopping. My husband is a huge fan of hopping to Epcot every night just to get a pretzel from Germany and a beer.
Smart man.
Whatever keeps Dad happy.
Now, if they have the cheese still at the beer or at the Germany Pavilion, that's even better. Stop shaking your head, Bridget. Don't ruin my dream.
But hopping is not what it was. Hopping is a bit different. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this because, hold on, we have a question. Do you know if Magical Express will be sending an envelope in the mail since they don't pick up your luggage for you? And yes. Okay. So, good question. Magical Express is no longer picking up your luggage for you. So years past, they would send you these yellow neon sticker luggage tags. You'd put them on your suitcase. Disney would pick up your bags from baggage claim, and they would just magically appear in your room 3 to 4 hours later. That is not happening due to COVID. You now have to pick up your own bags, and then you take your own bags on the Magical Express with you. Not a huge issue, but because of that, they have no reason to send you out those yellow tags. They are, however, sending you out a simple white sheet of paper that gives you the instructions of how to locate Magical Express at the airport. So they are sending you an envelope, but not with tags. Does that answer your question? Hopefully it does. So what, Nick?
Ground floor on side A, isn't it?
B?
Or is it
Transportation B? All the way to the right. That's what I say.
Yeah, okay. Well, because rental cars, they have...
Yes.
They're all over, yeah. And then Universal moved their desk. So I actually filmed that because Universal and SeaWorld and someone else moved their desk because they used to have their own private desk, which was towards the direction of Magical Express. Oh, good. Glad I helped. Hi. Are we Disney lovers? No.
Not at all.
No.
Just a little
Not
bit.
at all. Totally kidding, of course. Okay, so hoppers. So hoppers are coming back in 2 days, but it's different. So I wanted to ask you guys this question, right? So hoppers right now, you have to make reservations for the first park of your day.
Correct.
Right? And then
I do have a video on this on my channel.
Right. He does have a video of this on his channel. So then at 2 o'clock, you can hop to a different park if not at capacity.
Correct.
But here's the kicker I want to know. Has Disney announced what happens if you start the day at, say, Magic Kingdom, but you have dinner reservations at Epcot, but Epcot is at capacity, so you technically can't hop?
I would assume your I know this isn't Universal, but I know at Universal, if you have a dining reservation, that gets you into the park, even if they're at capacity.
And Disney, previous to COVID, part of their capacity shutdown structure level, that was one of the levels, is if you have a dining reservation, you're still allowed in. But this is all pre-COVID. So now with COVID,
I would think with what I do in my job and whatnot, I would think your percentage of how many people are at a dining reservation per park is, you've got to think only, even at the 35% that they're saying the capacity is located now, you're probably still only saying that every sit-down restaurant in the park probably only has, I don't know, 300 people allowed in, I'm going to say, at any given seating time. Yes, I did hear that today, that they are not running the Epcot monorail. I'm so angry at, well, not, I'm upset because I loved watching it go through and getting the picture with the spaceship. I love it. But
I have to wonder if they're doing that because there's so much construction going on. They don't want you getting overhead views of it.
That could be some of it. But
I think they're waiting to see how hoppers work before they introduce the monorail back in, because I know for me, I stay at monorail resorts. So the big ticket price I pay, I really want that monorail back.
Oh, absolutely.
But one other thing I want to
go ahead.
I was gonna say, one thing I want to note about the hoppers is you have to go to the reservation of your first park before they will allow you to hop. So if you make a reservation at Magic Kingdom and you don't go and check into Magic Kingdom, but you go to Epcot, it won't let you go to Epcot because you never went to Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
Am I right?
They're being very, and here's the thing is, we can talk about this till we're blue in the face, but it's Disney. Come 2 weeks, there could be a whole new,
well,
oh, by the way, we decided to adjust it a little bit.
Well, and look at how things have worked with the masks. I was there day one, and the masks were a lot different than now. You could eat while walking. You could. Yeah. So, I mean, you
could wear a gaiter if you had another one underneath.
Yes.
Not for all resorts, though. So the Skyliner doesn't work for me if I'm staying at a monorail resort. It works for people who want to go between Epcot and Hollywood and who are staying at Skyliner resorts. So, but yes, you're right. Skyliner is still working. It is allowing that. So that's the other thing that they bring up is hopping between Hollywood and Epcot could be the big hop because of the Skyliner, and you can walk between the two.
Yes. One other thing I want to add about the park hopper, park hopping will not begin until 2 p.m., which I was just looking at times for the parks in January. There's some parks that'll close at 5 o'clock. Animal Kingdom will be closing at 5 o'clock some nights. So that only gives you 3 hours from 2 o'clock on the dot to spend time at Animal Kingdom. And you will not be able to get a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance with the park hopping because
they purposely changed it to 1.
Yes, they purposely changed it from 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And before they announced that hopping was coming.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. When you mentioned masks changing, I wanted to mention boarding groups. Boarding groups for Rise of the Resistance have changed, 3,100,000 times?
Yes.
Even weeks after the previous change. So yeah, first they were like, oh, do it in your room at 7 a.m. and then again at 2. And then 2 weeks later, it was like, oops, our bad. Actually, it's 1. And that's because they brought back hopping. So
yeah,
this whole thing is what, Nick?
Yeah, I would say the group that was supposed to tell, hey, by the way, we're gonna do park hopping. Yeah, that group didn't tell the other group, hey, we need to move that up. So now, I mean,
inter-Disney communication. Oh, we have another question. Hold on.
Oh.
Also,
I think it's empty now. I think once boarding groups are done, I've noticed Hollywood thinning out for sure already.
Also, there's a question from Mike, a couple up also.
Oh, how did I not see that? Sorry, Mike. Bus only. So I was just at the Grand Floridian, 2-3 weeks ago.
You can still hitchhike.
You can hitchhike, as Nick
Uber.
said. It's bus. Bus is going to be your easiest mode of transportation. Of course, thanks to the walking path, you can. Well, you could always walk to the Polynesian. You could walk to the Polynesian and then walk to Ticket and Transportation Center and then bus. Either way, you're busing. So just bus from your resort. It's just.
And give yourself plenty of time for those buses. Just saying.
Right. Well, I will say that I stick to this. Buses at deluxe resorts are just quicker, faster, more frequent than the other resorts. It's my travel agent opinion based on years and years of doing this. I will pay for a deluxe resort over and over again because the busing is just so much better. But what were you saying, Nick? You were going to say something? I forget. Did you forget already?
Yeah.
All right. So
was it Hollywood Studios or Epcot?
I don't know. We were talking about hoppers. So I just think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, we're talking about hopping.
If Disney mentions what to do about dining, because right now I've been seeing a lot of interwebbing people telling people that they can book dining reservations for their park they're going to hop to. And to me, that's assuming you can get in.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think much with the masks, if they see people abusing that and all of a sudden they're getting a bunch of people that are, saying no to their dining reservations just so they can get in,
that's right.
I think they're going to go, nope. Dining reservation does not mean you're getting in. So
does that mean they waived the fee?
What, Bridget?
Does that mean they waived the fee?
Well, that's the thing.
There's ways around the fee, which I don't have to disclose right now, but you can.
Oh, I know some of them, but
I don't. Tell me. No, I'm kidding.
I feel bad advertising them as a travel agent, but when I have a guest that's in a pinch, I will do my tricks.
There's always tricks and being nice.
Tricks. But again, if you have people constantly doing the trick, eventually Disney's algorithm, their IT, they're going to find out, just like they find out about everything else. So just don't be that person. Like, don't ruin it for the rest of us who are trying to sort of play by the rules.
Well, like there was
human.
There was tricks to be, she said, be a decent human. There was tricks to get more fast passes when you're doing rider swap. Are they ethical? Well, do some cast members not care? Yeah. But at the same time, why are you going to ruin it for everybody else? But then again, fast passes aren't available right now. So,
Well, that was my next subject that I wanted to talk about. But that's the thing is people who book dining reservations that they're not going to do just ruins it for that family or that person that has been dying for that reservation, has been looking and looking, seeking for a place to eat, and you just took it from them. I get that sometimes we get a little overzealous and we don't know if we want to eat at Chefs de France or Beer Garden. So we book both and make the decision later on. But to purposely book something you're not going to do, I don't know.
Well,
not my thing.
I'll be completely honest right now. I'm going down in January. Our flight gets in fairly late, but Epcot is still going to be open. And we love going to Epcot for dinner. It depends how long it takes us to get our car and get our luggage is if we're going to make it to Epcot or not. There's a part of me that feels guilty because there's a small part that I may not be going. And it's not at capacity right now. So I don't feel like as bad there. If it was going to be near capacity, I'd probably cancel them because there is the chance I won't make it.
And for me, I would just book quick service because then I know I'm not affecting anyone and I'm not.
Well, no, I'm just saying my reservation for the actual just park itself.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, but I still feel this kind of weird, like, I'm picking up a park reservation that could be used for somebody else if I don't make it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying if it was closer to capacity, I'd probably just nix it just because there's a possibility I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do the same, Mike. I very rarely change my dining reservations because once I've worked the park pass day with the reservation and the rides I think we're going to ride, but that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about fast passes. So right now, I don't want to confuse anybody. There are no fast passes. Fast passes are not a thing. Zero nilch.
And if you see someone going through the fast pass lane,
that doesn't mean they have a fast pass.
That does not mean they have a fast pass. That means most likely they're like me and have done rider swap. Whereas your significant other has waited in line. And then I wait with my little man walking around the park while she waits in the standard line. And then after I go back up, well, actually I should go back. When she goes to the line, I go up, they scan my magic band and they say, hey, I'm doing rider swap. They scan me and say, okay, you're all set. Come back when she's done. So she waits in line. She does the thing. Space Mountain, let's say. She comes back out with, and then I give her the child, and then I go back through that fast pass lane. Or there's also Dax, and there is Club 33. Actually, was not aware that you could do that, but
and Golden Oak,
and Golden Oak, which kind of, I thought they just got an annual pass, but that's another story that we can go into later.
You don't have to.
We don't have to go into all that.
If you see anyone going through the fast pass area, do not assume it's a fast pass. It also could be VIP tours. I mean, there's just other reasons, but they're not for the everyday people. But we have a question here, or not really a question. For me, if you're going to get a Rise of the Resistance boarding pass at 7 a.m., I think you need to be prepared to be in the park pretty darn close to opening.
Well, and that's the thing, though, is what group you're in at 7 a.m. Because I just recently did it. I did my 7 o'clock. I did it, and I found out we were 33. So I kind of looked at.
What if you waste your? So what she's saying is what if you do the 7 a.m. and you find out you boarded at 10, but you don't arrive till noon when you could have just done the 1 o'clock pass? Because I think you screwed yourself over, right? Because if you got the 7 and you didn't take
you can't try it too. If you got a 7, you can't try it too.
You can't also try a 1. Now that your best bet is to go to a cast member, beg and plead, our plane was late, blah, 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 because at least you had a pass at that point. They really can't do anything if you never even got a pass. But if you missed your pass, possibly you could beg and plead and
and that's if you have, as long as you have the pass, you know what, being nice to cast members goes a long way. A smile. My mom always said you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. And you know what, working at a park, Bridget, would you like to comment on any of that?
So I don't have a lot of experience with that, but I do know the nicer.
No, I'm just talking about people being nice in general.
Being nice to people, honestly, in any position, whether it's a theme park, merchandise, retail, restaurants, especially restaurants, it'll go far. Hannah, my question to you would be, is there any way to change which day is your Hollywood Studios day? Because that would be, honestly, your best option.
No, and Hannah, we're not saying that you're taking somebody's spot or anything.
Right, we're not.
By no means are we saying that.
Scenario for you, because at 1 o'clock, let's say she skips the 7 and does the 1, you have to be in the park.
Yes, you have to be there, and to me, it feels like a lot of those are backup boarding groups. I don't know how many they're actually giving out in the morning, and no one knows. Besides, a close hold of Disney people, know how many
people who work at the ride.
Oh no, yeah, the people that I'm talking close that are way up in the chain know this one, that are sworn to secrecy, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's a gamble. It really is a gamble. I mean, it's a gamble every time you try to get that boarding pass. Anytime that I've been very serious about getting the boarding pass, I've gotten one. Anytime I've been very lackadaisical about it, I haven't got it, but I didn't care either. I've been on it. So it was one of those, hey, I'll let other people, if I get it, great. If I don't, meh.
Yeah.
So
ironically, the time I didn't get it, I was staying on Disney property.
Hold on, Mike. We're trying to read this here. What if you do the 1 p.m. reservation, okay, at Hollywood Studios, and park is full for the park hop? What do you do? Well, that's the thing, is you have to be in the park at Hollywood Studios at 1 o'clock to try to get the pass. And hopping doesn't start till 2. So there's no way you could be hopping to Hollywood and also get the boarding group.
Because you got to be touched into the park, Mike.
Yeah, just like it used to be in the beginning. You have to be, you and your entire party that you're trying for the boarding group has to be inside the park, which means you have to be through security and your ticket has to be scanned. And it used to be your fingerprint too, but just your ticket has to be scanned or your magic band, and you have to be inside the park.
Right, but you can't hop until before 2.
Yep.
And the park boarding group starts at 1, so there's no way to mix the two. And so your option is 7 a.m. or
I can guarantee that was done on purpose.
For sure. It was like, oh, did the boarding group people not talk to the hopping people? Maybe we should get on that. So fast passes. So again, fast pass is not a thing. We're not talking about how they're a thing, but I'm curious what, us being kind of the experts here, what we think fast passes could look like if Disney decides, let's bring those back.
Well, I'm gonna throw this out. I'm gonna throw this out to you, Nina. Would you like to see Fast Pass Plus come back or come to Disney World? Or do you prefer, I'm sorry, would you like to see Fast Pass come back, or do you want them to stick with Fast Pass Plus? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Disneyland does not Max Pass. Max Pass is their, you can pay for it. Just their normal Fast Pass, and then you have Max Pass.
Bless you, Bridget. Oh, so you're talking paper versus...
Yes, the old school, you have to be in the park. So Disneyland does, you have to be in the park. There is no 60-day planning of this. It's a paper fast pass that you can either run up to the thing, scan your phone or your ticket, and get a fast pass for that ride. Or you can pay, I think it's $15 per ticket, per person, in other words, to then use your phone, and you can get more fast passes. I think it's every 90 minutes you can have one versus every 2 hours, if I remember right. Plus,
it changes.
Oh yeah, it changes. But you also got the photo pass too with your $15. So would you rather see that come to Disney World, or book it like you have been, which is your 60 and 30 days?
None of the above.
Oh, you'd like a total revamp. Okay.
I want a total. I think the boarding group for Rise of the Resistance is an interesting concept. I think having that be applied to some of the bigger coasters at the other parks might be a beneficial idea.
Isn't there another park that's doing that?
Well, and it's working kind of well for that other park. So Max Pass, I love Max Pass at Disneyland. I absolutely love it. I love that I can be using one of my passes. I'm on Jungle Cruise, the family's with me, and we're scrolling through going, hey, we can do Indy next. We can do whatever next. And we just pick it and we get it and we're done. The issue with that is I'm a family who goes for over a week. To spend $15 per person per day for just fast passes is kind of a stinkeroonie. Bridget.
Do they do an annual, at Disneyland, do they do an annual pass, Max Pass?
Yes, you can upgrade your AP to include the Max Pass. Now, then, as Nick was saying, the Max Pass, whether you're an AP or not, if you get the Max Pass, it does include pictures, which is great. But the pictures, not that they're not as good as Memory Maker, but Memory Maker is like an already established thing, $169 for your whole package. I don't see them messing with Memory Maker to make it Max Pass accessible, but I am curious if the boarding group was kind of a tester for bigger things ahead for Fast Pass. But we got some questions while you guys think of that. Fast Pass don't come back, I would say it would be... Yeah, well, for years as a travel agent, I was thinking deluxe resort guests should get, say, 5 fast passes, and moderate resort guests should get, say, 3 fast passes, and value resort guests should get, say, 2 fast passes.
Where would the APs fall in there?
That's a whole nother ball game. And that's the other thing too. The reason fast passes aren't right now is the fast pass line is often parallel with the regular line, right? So if we're social distancing, we can't exactly have a large family of 6 in the fast pass lane and a large family of 6 in the standby lane, and we're merging. It's not.
You could have, but it would have been even more of a nightmare, a logistical nightmare for all those 6 foot board or 6 foot from another person stickers that you're standing on. So
pay attention to.
Yeah, well, some people do. Some people, yeah, not so much.
Yeah,
kids are better than adults. I've seen.
Oh,
a lot of the times.
Yes. Yes. So
although I have almost gained a couple children in my party.
Me too.
Like weird. I didn't know I had a little girl. What's going on?
It's amazing.
That labor was painless.
The adults don't pay attention. I've been 3 times since COVID, and every one of those trips, we've had a few adults that were just not paying attention, practically bumping into me. And I'm thinking, we're in line. Go stand on your dot. Recognize your dot. But that's the thing about fast passes is right now, come January, crowds will get less. But as crowds amp up again, will they bring back fast passes, and how will it look? Especially considering right now with the way fast pass lanes are and the clicking that goes on, those are right next to each other. So that's going to be a hard socially distant situation unless they go virtual. Which
you're still, even with the virtual, you still got lines.
You still are going through the same line, right? So unless they reroute the fast pass entry.
Well, look at, granted this is out of the park, but look at Gideon's Bakehouse.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour line, 2-hour virtual line, and then you're in a gigantic line again. It's like 30 to 45 minutes.
People are always going to abuse. Whatever they do, there's going to be the abusers.
There's always going to be a loophole that somebody thinks that they're, getting one over on everybody else.
Awesome, Rob. I hope you have a great time.
Any questions, Rob?
Yeah, any questions, Rob? But I mean, I think that's the thing is, it's amazing to me, our trip, which was just a few weeks back, I heard so many people say, the lines are too long. I want fast passes to come back. This would be so much better with fast passes. And as cruise fan Will said, is it?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If my wife is an engineer, for those of you have been watching, you know that. But with that, she has been doing a lot of stuff for a certification called the Black Belt, and that is how to be accurate on your measurements, including timing. So we've been doing a lot of how often are they actually accurate and what degree are they off a lot of the times.
For the wait times? Yeah.
For the wait times. And it's interesting to find out. I've got a video that hopefully will be coming out here fairly soon. She's working on wrapping up the numbers. So
I found personally when I was in the parks last time, whenever that was, I've been blacked out. So I haven't been in a while. But most things were overestimated. And I 100%, I don't know about you guys, but I would much rather get in a line that says it's 45 minutes and it be 12 minutes or be 20 minutes than get in a line that says it's 20 minutes and it be 45 minutes.
Why do you think they overshoot?
Oh, I understand why they do, but I would much rather have that.
Oh yeah, everybody would. And that's one of the reasons.
You say that. Not true.
It's better to, or it's never better to overpromise and underdeliver. I think it's something along those lines.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of Rob's question? I'm not quite understanding. How long was it when Smuggler's Run went from boarding pass to fast pass? You mean how long, like when they started with you need a boarding group to never mind it's a fast pass?
Well,
like
Smuggler's never had a boarding pass.
Or boarding group. Something, or was that Disneyland?
So Galaxy's Edge had a boarding pass.
Yes. Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland had a boarding group to be able to get into the land itself.
So did Disney World.
Yeah, that was Disneyland. Disney World, I think, had it for the first day and then never had it again.
First 2 days, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember we got into the land, and then they said they went to we got a boarding group also because we didn't know if we left, if we would need it to get back, even though we were already there. And so we got one just to be safe. But I think it was
back to me.
Like what?
Oh yeah, feels like forever ago.
I don't think any of the resorts are doing your laundry, but there are washing machines for you to do it yourself.
Now, do those take coins, Nina?
Oh, you know what? I went to go look and then I didn't have my thing on me, but I'm thinking they are
cards. Right. Well, just with the coin shortage and everything, I didn't know if they would be requiring coins.
I don't think they've been going a while, but either way, I'm sure you can get something from the front desk, but I'm pretty sure it's all credit card now. And then of course, it was in one of my videos. It might've been at Universal now that I think about it, but they had vending machines for the soap and the stuff that you could buy there. Oh, I thought Smuggler's Run was what Rise of the Resistance had. No, Smuggler's Run is wait in line. There is no ahead of the time. There was a fast pass for it, but there's no fast passes now.
And there used to be a single rider for that as well. However, during COVID, there is not the single rider either.
Rise of the Resistance is boarding group. So if at 7 a.m. you try to get a boarding group on your phone, it's gone in seconds. 1 second, it's gone. You either get it or you don't. If you don't get it, you're not going.
Now, they do have fast pass lines for it set up. But as we said a little bit earlier, if you're seeing anybody go through there, they have a boarding group. They have to have a boarding group. And then if you're seeing that, they're probably like me who have done a rider swap because they've got little ones that are not tall enough to go through their DAX, which is disability groups. If you have somebody with a disability, you still have to wait in a line, but you have basically a time to come back. And then also the Club 33 members. All of them have to have a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance, no matter who you are.
No matter what you're doing, you need a boarding group.
If Bob Iger walks up, guess what? He needs a boarding pass still.
I don't know about that.
I would think he should.
Maybe Bob Iger. I know Josh has taken people on it before. Josh Tomorrow or whatever his name is.
They should have a boarding group.
All right, let's do the next topic at hand, which is kind of what the subject is about. What's new 2021? So I want to know, there are some restaurants that have been rumored to be coming out for a while now. And there's also rides.
A couple of them.
And there's rides in the same kind of queue line here. What are you guys personally looking forward to? So all the rumored rides that maybe 2021, who knows?
Well, let's start with restaurants.
Okay, restaurants.
Let's boil that down. I have a restaurant I absolutely cannot wait to go to. Space 220.
Yeah, that was mine too.
I want to go to that.
I'm really intrigued by it.
Yes, I can't wait till the People Mover goes back. One of my favorite rides, especially because when my wife is running Space Mountain, it's a great one to just take little man on. It's perfect.
It's the perfect length to rest your feet just for a little bit.
That too.
Get out of the sun. We used to feed. So for those of you who don't know, my kids have food allergies. And when they were little, it was easier for me to kind of pack them a little sandwich in a baggie and kind of feed them when they got the hunger and then eat, a little later on. So we would often sit in that People Mover and I'm like feeding her little bits of sandwich just to give her kind of like something in her tummy when she was in that hangry zone. We would ride that People Mover over and over again. And now it's like one of their favorite rides. And of course it's been shut down, but Space 220.
Space 220.
Please no more 2020.
Yeah.
Is on my list as well. And something new just happened with it. I forget what it was, but did they remove they removed like the boarding of it.
Oh.
It was all boarded up.
All the scrim kind of.
Yeah, I thought someone posted they removed some of the scrim. So maybe, I don't know. What about you, Bridget?
Yeah. What about, because same thing, Space 220. They've gone through numerous head chefs. What about Space 220 excites you guys the most?
Oh, just concept.
The idea that you've boarded an elevator and that you're above Earth and the views from Earth. I am really okay, moving on to that one real quick. Cruise fan Will saying about Ratatouille.
Oh, we'll get to it.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll finish
then.
We're
getting to it, Will.
With 220, it's just the idea of eating in space and being able to look at the Earth. I think that's just a great idea, especially at Epcot.
Now let's clue Cruise fan Will in. So over a year ago, if not 2 years ago, Epcot announced this new revolutionary restaurant that's going to be at Epcot that's going to take you high above, and you're going to basically eat in space surrounded by like a virtual space.
Isn't it you're eating 220 miles up? I think it was yeah.
Oh, see, and I thought it was 220 degrees of view.
No, it's that you're eating 220 miles above the Earth.
That makes more sense.
At tables, I assume.
No, eating at tables. I believe they're doing the whole we're spinning so you have artificial gravity type thing. But yeah, you're supposed to be
curious because I have not only do I have food allergies, and this is a non-Disney restaurant, right? So a lot of restaurants in Epcot are not Disney owned. Space 220 is one of them. They've gone through several chefs, menus. They can't seem to get it together. Me with food allergies is very curious what they're going to do. And I have motion sickness.
Well, I don't think, no, I think they're saying that we're moving. They're not actually moving, but
the whole thing with the elevator, some people were saying could be motion.
I'm interested with that, considering my wife is just unbelievably afraid of heights.
My question would be for either of you. Well, more so for Nina. Does Garden Girl bother it?
No, it does not.
I wonder if it's going to be like that.
Garden Grill is so unbelievably slow in its rotation that it doesn't affect me. But I am someone who gets sick in elevators.
Oh, wow.
So I have to be careful. I used to work at a senior home. I was their activities director at a senior home. And I would go from floor to floor, chasing after residents, getting things ready. If I say lunchtime, I was done. I could not ride the elevator anymore. It was too much elevator for me. And when I got pregnant, I had to quit because between being pregnant and doing this, yeah, I remember that too. I was trying to get reservations and then it never happened.
It is 220 miles up.
Yeah.
It says, what's weird though, it says enjoy amazing daytime and nighttime views. You're in space.
It's going to
yes, but you would still see the daytime of the Earth and then the nighttime of the Earth.
Right, which is what's cool about it. So they're going to change the lighting.
Yeah, well, the lighting of what Earth looks like.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I follow now. I'm like, space would look the same.
So I see, that's the thing, Mike. I don't know. I don't know if the elevator to there is going to be kind of extreme because they said it's going to make you feel like you are elevating up 2020, right? It's not, and I don't know what that's going to feel like Rise of the Resistance drop.
It's going to feel like the orange side of space.
And then, so I don't know. And then you would have to think that the changing from light to dark, day and night is going to be gradual, but I don't know.
Not really, because if you think about it, if you're in a space station and you're moving at the rate that, let's say, the space station moves, they actually see, if I remember right, it's like 9 sunrises and sunsets per day.
Oh gosh, I might as well just vomit now.
Now here's the real question. Are they going to have 10?
Everything is in pouches. You can't.
No, they did talk about that. There was some people that had mentioned like ice cream in,
solid form.
So, yeah, like getting a little mix of space food in there. And I think that might be why they were having so much chef issues, because it wasn't just a culinary, what you want.
They're forcing them into a round peg into a square hole of.
I think they're trying to get it on theme, on point, and it's just been causing issues. And yeah, really, what if? And I'm sure they've consulted.
Well, you got to remember, Kennedy Space Center is only like an hour and a half.
Right? I was at 90 minutes away. Basically, what I think that circle is a window, it's basically the capsule or the elevator. Yeah, it's a porthole in the elevator that you look down and watch Earth get smaller as you ascend in your space elevator.
I'm hoping it's like Soarin' and I just close my eyes. Because I love Soarin'. It's one of my favorite rides, but there are some scenes, transition scenes where you're whooshing that I do have to close my eyes, even though it's 100%. I mean, I know it's fake. I'm not even moving.
I'm just trying to figure out if they're standing or they're sitting. It looks like they're standing. So it can't be like as intense as like Tower of Terror.
But there was something about that elevator, and I think it was supposed to go kind of intensely, if I remember reading it correctly.
Well, to be fair, it's not that big of a building.
Well, and again, it's not open. No one knows. This is all speculation.
Also, just in case if anyone's wondering where it'll be located, it's located between Test Track and Mission Space.
Yeah, it's right next to Mission Space, basically.
So I think one of the restaurants we did not mention, which apparently no one's looking forward to, is Woody's Backyard Barbecue.
Oh
yeah, I am looking forward to that, just because I think that they need more food over there. So
Hollywood Studios needs barbecue. It's the only park that doesn't have it. Kind of.
I would say, does Magic Kingdom have barbecue?
No, they need characters. They need boy-themed character restaurants. Princesses are everywhere. My number one comment from clients is, I hear about the princesses. What is there for my boys to do? And I'm not stereotyping. Mine flirts
with the princesses. So
I know the little boys do, but when you
when he gets older, I'm sure that's
with someone. Didn't they used to do Disney Junior with like Jake and the Neverland Pirates and I don't know any other ones at in the photo from Space 220, I can't say that. It actually shows someone in a wheelchair.
Cruise fan Will just woke up. Woody's barbecue does look fun. I'm hoping it is on par with like Flame Tree over in Animal Kingdom.
You mean taste like barbecue wise?
Yes.
Now my question is it sit down or is it quick service? Because I thought it was sit down.
I believe it's sit down.
I thought it was table service, potentially characters, which may be getting revamped with this COVID thing.
Yeah. I believe it's sit down, but I thought that you had quick service options is what I had read somewhere.
But that's what Woody's lunchbox is for.
Well, yeah. But I think they're trying to make sure that everything can be, takeaway at this point. Just because
I think they would be smart to revamp, since it's not really a thing yet, to revamp it, because COVID knocked us on our socks. And I'm not trying to be negative, but what if there's a COVID 2 or 3 or pick a different random problem? They might be wise to start building social distancing and grab and go and those type of situations into these things. Like I tell my husband this all the time, like we're close to a Chipotle. Chipotle has been going strong during COVID because they've always been like a pick up and go. They just started doing it online and you just go to the store, you grab it, you go. But those poor restaurants that were sit down, they're the ones that are hitting this hard. Yeah. Disney would be smart to look into grab and go mix.
Yeah. Well, your only problem then is there needs to be more spots in the park to actually be able to chill out, eat. Because you're finding that
I've been saying that for years. There's not enough.
Woody's Lunchbox went back before COVID. You could not get a seat. There was no seat anywhere.
If you did buy a lottery ticket that day too.
Right. Yes. I hear that all the time. We got to remember our poor boys. Some boys like to meet characters too.
I doubt it, Mike.
They'd be smart to at least do a grab and go, though.
Can you go back to the Marvel question?
You know, there is a Marvel themed grab and go at Disneyland's Marvel area. It's what is it, like a food truck? They have delicious vegan nachos that are Marvel themed. They are mouth-watering delicious. Disney would be smart to bring something like that in where it's
your problem though is the license. Your problem though is the licensing.
Well, then how are they doing Gardens of the Galaxy anyway?
So the way they're doing it is that Universal has the rights to basically anything like Avengers and certain characters up to a certain point. Now they only have the rights to them in the theme parks and the comic book versions, which is why at Universal, you've never seen an updated Spider-Man in the park. You'll never see an updated Captain America in the park. You will only see the comic book version. But that's the issue Disney has. That's why they can't do that's the issue Disney World has. That's why they can't do a whole Marvel area there. They have to be very selective with which characters they can and can't use.
And it's something within the distance of the park, of the two parks too. And that's why Disneyland can do it.
West of the Mississippi, you can.
Oh, okay. That was there's a geographical there. Okay.
Disneyland has obviously got Marvel, but so maybe I used the wrong word. So maybe not a Marvel grab and go, but they could do a Gardens of the Galaxy grab and go.
Yeah.
So quick switch of the words there, I guess. But they would really, I think if COVID has taught us anything is that we do need more restaurants. We do need more grab and goes, but with that comes seating.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to eat food and wine trash can style.
No, I've done that way too much lately.
And it's hard to do with families. It just is with little kids, especially when they're younger and they're kind of messy and the garbage cans are up high, plus it's unsanitary.
I wish they had more normal tables during the festival season too. Like they have the big bar tops, but I feel bad anytime I see a family with like small, not even small kids, but elementary school and they can't see above that table. Like they just have to hold their food and eat.
The best thing for us to do with little man is he just sits in the stroller and we've got we put a bib on him and hose out the stroller.
But that's the thing is Bridget's mentioning that's only good for a certain age, right?
Eventually, oh yeah, absolutely.
Like if you have an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old, like
that's what I have.
Hey, maybe that's where I got those numbers from.
My 11-year-old is tall enough, obviously, for the table, but the 8-year-old, I mean, it's kind of
eye level.
But my kids, especially the 8-year-old, is extremely messy.
I still am.
And so I think Disney would be wise to implement more of that. And shorter people, right? Let's not forget the shorter people.
Well, I noticed more of it during Festival of the Arts last year. And so I'm hoping maybe little by little, they'll start incorporating more tables into Epcot. Because let's just be honest, I feel like I need a shirt. And it's like eating at trash cans since 1997. Like.
All right, Nick, get your wife to work on that. She's the one that makes the shirts.
We can do that.
But I mean, it got to the point where I was in line for our food at Food and Wine, and I sent the 11-year-old, because I can trust her, right, to scour. I'm like, look for a bench, any bench. As soon as someone leaves, grab their bench, and that awkward
See, I have a pet peeve about that, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, she's in training, and I said, wait for them to actually leave first.
Well, no, it's the fact that people at Epcot, I don't mind it so much but the quick service places that people are not getting their food yet, or they're like 14 back, and they have somebody else has booked their table, or they've sat in their table, but in the time that it's going to take them to get their food, my family could have eaten and left already. So right. I have a big, and I've talked to numerous cast members that have said, do not save tables. Now your Food and Wine is a little different. Your line is usually only 2 or 3 people. You're waiting for your food a maximum of like 3 minutes. I mean, you're not talking 15, 20 minutes here. But yeah, that is a big pet peeve of mine, that people do at Disney.
Right. I will say we do it, but that's because we're feeding our kids while I'm waiting in line to get the food. My kids are actually at the table eating what I packed.
If they're actually eating, that's a different story then.
Yeah,
but when people are just sitting there, they're sitting there on their phones because they're waiting for, their significant other that's, 15 deep in the line. That's going to take 25 minutes. That's a different story.
Well, I will say, and I'm going to use Pecos Bill because we ate there 1,600 times 2 weeks ago, is they weren't letting anyone through that door unless you had, your mobile order.
Your food was ready. Yeah.
Right. Or like me, I have to order at the register. Yeah. I was allowed in, thus my family was allowed in. They found their seat, but they were also eating other food that we packed.
Again, that's different because they're eating.
But again, pre-COVID, they weren't doing that. People are just a free-for-all.
Yeah.
And I get it. People with kids, like you can't stand there with your food and have no table. But at the same time, you got to understand how long you're going to really be in line for, and could someone else be using that table? So,
and that's the thing. I think a lot of people misunderstand how long 50 or 10 people are to get in line to order food and then to prepare your food. You're looking at 25 minutes.
Well, I guess that's the next thing COVID did bring, because of mobile ordering. They don't let you in unless you have the reservation. And
I'm still seeing it though in some places. Yep. The Pinocchios, actually, I saw it badly.
I wonder if Pinocchios is because they have multiple entrances.
That could be.
That's the issue.
They were the last time we were there. That was 2 times ago, so that would have been October. There was after you put in your time frame, even when you hit preparing your order, it was still 20 minutes for them to then prepare your order. 25 minutes. There was a line outside of Pinocchio's to get your stuff, then to just go in. And then as soon as people were getting in, there was still another line at the pickup windows even. So, I mean, it was bad. And then people were getting tables. People couldn't get tables. It was a mess.
Sounds like Pinocchio's needs to rework that, because I did not see that at Pecos, and Docking Bay, they don't let you in either without.
I think it's because Pinocchio's has 2 entrances, because that's the issue I had. I almost ate my pizza standing up on a trash can in Pinocchio's.
I would have, minus the little man. And of course, we needed to get him out of his hey costume.
That'll do it.
Probably getting hot.
I agree, Mike.
As we are getting close to when we usually end the show, Will brought up something, and I think we need to end with a bang. So we picked our restaurants, but we did not discuss rides. So there's 3 big rides right now that are definitely on my mind for 2021 if they come out. One is obviously Ratatouille. One is Guardians of the Galaxy, and then the other one is Tron. Are there other rides that I'm missing that are?
Those are your main 3. I have heard some rumors that Tron is probably being pushed till 2022.
And based on a photo I saw today, I saw one moment, please.
They basically closed stuff up that.
Yeah, they just boarded it up today. They boarded it up, so I don't know.
So I sent this to Nina with, I think someone made a mistake.
Yeah.
That's going to be an awful quick stop.
Either that or it's going to be really cool to like break through a wall.
Break through the wall, yeah.
Bang your head open.
From what I heard, this was coming from a contract company that was doing work, is that basically they're halting any of the work until October of 2021. So
they're literally closing up the building.
Yes.
That's so strange because they were going hardcore on it for so long, and now you're saying the construction company's like, nope.
Yep. Well, no, Disney is telling the construction company you're going to be paused until October.
Why?
I wish I knew. Hannah had
because of the lack of.
There are some rumors that it's ready, and I guess my wife was talking about something like they let a TikToker or something on the ride.
Not on, they walked through it.
Walked through it. Okay.
And they had really cute Remy ears.
I had not seen that. I am really hoping that they're opening it before the 18th or the 16th when I'm going.
Okay.
My guess is end of February.
My guess is right before spring break, which works for me.
The reason why I say that is it's early enough where they won't be affected by spring breakers, hypothetically. I don't know when Easter is, but it's also right before Flower and Garden.
Which makes Remy make sense. Although he's kind of artsy with his cooking. But I wanted to ask you guys about Remy because one thing, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I will not watch videos on new rides unless I won't.
I won't either.
I have to know if, like I did a little bit for Rise of the Resistance because I needed to know how bad the drop was because I obviously can't take my kids on something that's going to make them vomit. So can anyone explain to me, because I am literally like this, what is the track system? What is the ride? So don't tell me that it's about.
I've heard
a trackless system. It is a copy of Paris.
Right, which I haven't seen the videos. I'm purposely avoiding.
Like Mickey and Minnie's.
So it's like Mickey and Minnie's and Rise of the Resistance, because that's also trackless.
Yes.
So motion-wise, I shouldn't be too concerned.
If you can do Minnie and Mickey, I think you're fine.
Because they're not going to spin the rat, right?
Not to my knowledge. I haven't heard. I don't watch ride videos either. I post them, but I don't watch them.
Same. The only thing I've seen is in the Imagineering story on Disney Plus.
Yep. Yeah, I've watched that, and that's the only portion that I've seen. They didn't do any spinning or that type of thing within that I saw there, at least.
How did I miss that? They did Remy on that show?
They talk about the Paris version.
Yeah, when they talked about Paris opening and Paris in general, it's on the Imagineering. Yep.
Okay, I got to go back and watch it because I feel like I thought it was trackless, but I needed to make sure because, yes, it was the TikTok girl. She sang a song about Remy. She loves Remy and inspired a bunch of people to sing songs about Remy, and she went viral and Disney invited her out. And
it was really cute though.
April 4th.
Oh, okay.
It's Easter, April 4th.
For Easter.
So, I mean, there's definitely some really good things to look forward to in 2021. But again, COVID is still kind of a thing. So hopefully Disney does release one or two of these things, if not all of them. So at this point, we're all just kind of speculation and looking for the future.
So,
but what?
I was gonna say, these are the ears. I don't know if you can see that.
Glare. Oh, and they come with the hat. How cute.
Yeah, and the hat says Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, which will be the name of the attraction.
Very cute.
Well, with that, they're supposed to be opening a new restaurant too.
Yes, a creperie.
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Say that.
Around, I think it's going to be on the side.
By the ride.
Yes.
Kind of.
I think you're supposed to kind of like originally they talked about you exiting through it.
Oh God, not another restaurant with an exit through it.
Well, that's
how it is in Paris.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very COVID friendly. I thought maybe they were getting rid of one of the stores or something.
I think because you know how. Did you ever take this? No, you were at Grand. The Skyliner, it's like a whole little village in the back of France now. So I think it's going to be on the side of, if you know where the perfume shop is,
right?
Kind of that area.
Right. So we walked it when we were there, and I filmed a little bit of it, but it was also boarded up, so we could only get through, where the ride is. It was still, we could turn the corner, but then eventually we got to the boarded up door business, and then we rode the Skyliner, and I purposely looked over, investigatory. I can't even think of a word. But yeah, no, that's vegan crepes. That's all I'm asking for. Vegan crepes. But it seems like if they're opening a ride and a restaurant, maybe it's not going to come out as soon as we want unless they open up one and not the other.
Which could be too. Or they're or they're actually ready for the creperie to open in there.
Right.
Holding out because of COVID.
I thought Universal had a crepe, or it was a crepe truck. What do they have?
Do. Disney actually announced their creperie before Universal ever opened theirs. Like, Universal did no promotions on their crepe truck and just based it all on social media. And their crepes have gone up at Universal $3 since they opened.
Oh, by the way, we've got crepes now.
Well,
no, literally.
Universal, that's what Universal is good at. They are,
they're what they refer to as agile.
They're social media promoters. That is how they do what they do. And I also sell and book Universal, love Universal. But that's how they want us to sell and promote, is social media. They give us taglines. This is what Universal does. As Disney kind of does it slightly different route, but that's interesting. So they both are going to have crepes. Oh, sorry, Will. I hope they were at least good. So as we kind of end for the night, because we're getting towards our hour and a half, briefly, I wanted to talk to you guys on, what are you hoping to experience in 2021 that might be new at Disney? And what do you have coming up on your channel if you are revamping, changing anything? So 2 things. You want to go, Nick, or are you thinking?
Well, yeah. I'm continuing on my quest with Little Man of travel and Disney. As I said, we're planning on going on Disney here just in a couple weeks. I actually have rides. What are the best rides for toddlers at Animal Kingdom coming out? I already have one on Magic Kingdom, which has been doing very well actually. So, and then.
But what are you hoping to do with Little Man in the new year? What
am I hoping to do?
Yeah, because he's going to get a little older. Is there some?
What are your 20?
Keep him out of trouble and keep him alive. No, I'm kidding. Well, no, I'm not kidding. I want him. But we're hoping to go to Disney. Obviously, a bunch more. We're hoping. Actually, we've been talking about if Disneyland ever opens, because we were on Disney World's opening day. We would love to go to Disneyland's opening day, as a reopening day. That is a goal. Would love to do it. We'll see if it happens, kind of thing.
So there isn't a ride that you're hoping Little Man will finally go on, or anything like that?
No, actually, it's heartbreaking when he gets to go to the next ride, because he actually got to do. I want to say Autotopia, and it's not Speedway. He actually was tall enough to do Speedway in this last, which is his first big boy ride that his head just barely hit.
Did you have him in platform?
No, I did not. I do not do that. The safety reasons are there for a reason. So, but he was behind the wheel, and I may have shed a tear or two. It was
practically crying now. But is there another, like, what's the next step? Like, what are you hoping he goes?
The next one, I think, is Barnstormer at 35 inches, I think. And right now he's 33 inches. So
you think he'll do it?
He might. He's growing like a weed. So he's almost out of his 18-month jams, and he's 18 months right now. So,
and that means he'd be going on his first roller coaster.
I know. I'm not sure. Oh, but here's the other thing: is just because, and I will say this for anybody's kids, not just my own, just because they're tall enough does not mean they will be ready for that ride.
Well, that's why I'm wondering. Barnstormer's kind of.
Oh yeah, although he loves that kind of stuff.
Does he? Okay.
Flip him around and everything else. So he loves that kind of stuff. So right now he has my ears and not his mom's. So is in motion sickness wise. So
right. I got.
Yeah. So that's my hopes is just to be able to travel with him and travel to other places other than Disney. I love Disney. I absolutely love it. But there's a whole, it's a small world, but there's a big world out there to take him around to. So
yeah, you'll get there. How about you, Bridget? What are you looking forward to at Disney in 2021? And then your channel, any changes or growth or anything you plan on doing?
Sure. So for Disney, because I do live here, it's trying more things that I haven't before. I love sticking with things that I love. And like this year, I tried Kakagori for the first time. Obsessed. It's just pushing myself to try these things that I might not always try because I get to go all the time. So it's that fine line of like, do you keep going with your favorites or do you try something new and hopefully get a new favorite out of it? So definitely that. I would love to get out to Disneyland. I was actually supposed to be in Disneyland the first week of December instead of at Walt Disney World. I still have tickets.
Oh no.
A lot of money in tickets actually right now. So it's figuring out what to do with that. Coming up on my channel, I have some dining reviews actually. Docking Bay 7 and The Wave for dinner. Those will be coming out first couple weeks of January. Hopefully to get over to Festival of the Arts in the opening-ish week, which begins January 8th.
Yep.
So we'll be there soon.
Yay.
Now, to tack on that, I do want to try new restaurants that I don't normally try at Disney as well.
Like what?
We go to Brown Derby all the time. We'd love to go to 50s Cafe or the Sci-Fi. I would love to try those. We get real kind of stuck in our ruts too, just because as APs, we go a lot. And there's that fine line of, God, I really love this burger at Brown Derby. I love the Wagyu burger, but there could be something else out there that we really love too. So I fully get that, Bridget, even being not in Florida.
You get your favorites, you love your popcorn. You get your popcorn every time, or you get your candy nut. Dole Whip. But it's pushing yourself. Like, Nick, you said you love Dole Whip. Have you had Kakagori yet?
What is Kakagori?
Kakagori is shaved ice from the Japan Pavilion. So the little
okay. I know exactly where it is and know what you're talking. Now I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know the name of it. I have not actually. I have had shaved ice in Hawaii.
I assume that's where it's based off of.
Yeah,
Japan moved over to Hawaii.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I haven't tried it in Disney, and probably should.
You should. It's cheap and delicious, and you get a ton of it.
Now, do they do the condensed milk on it too? Okay, yeah.
They do it without it, also, Nina.
It's not my thing.
I'm a fan of it without. My wife loves the condensed milk on it. So, yeah.
We're stuck in our rut because of food allergies, but I'm hoping as the kids get older and try new things that we can get out of our rut. I think this is everyone. We've eaten at Sci-Fi practically every single trip. I love Sci-Fi. I will continue to eat there. But if Disney would open up a few more things, food allergy safe and are crazy food allergies, we would totally try them. And brown derby, I love brown derby. I just don't want to pay the price for my adult daughter to eat an adult meal when she still eats like a kid. So that's my issue with some of the higher meals, is because I have to pay adult prices for a kid who still eats kids' meals.
Have either of you guys been to Raglan Road?
Yeah, so Mike's mentioning Raglan Road. I don't think I'm going to be helpful to you, Mike, because I've eaten the vegan dish there, which is a very delicious, creamy risotto.
Ooh.
But Raglan Road is very good. They're really good with food allergies. The food there is phenomenal. At evening times, they have a lot of bands playing, and of course, the dancing Irish girls. It's definitely a good time. But as of specific menu items, I don't. Nick, have you been?
I have not. With looking at their menu, their Little Man, it's a little difficult for Little Man. So, yeah, we haven't been there. Again, would love to. But yeah, we just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's hard when you have kids because there's so many things you want to do, but then there's things that, well, we're in this phase. We got to stick with this phase, and eventually we'll get there. So Raglan Road is something I did when I was sans children, because I get to go as adults without the family every now and then. And you're very welcome, Mike. So
I was just going to say, there's also a quick service place connected to Raglan Road called Cooks of Dublin. If you want something from there, but like don't want to do like a big sit down meal,
which often has a really long line, depending on the night.
Yeah.
And time. We always walk, because we always go to Blaze Pizza. Again, talk about being in your rut. We always walk past Raglan Road, Cooks of Dublin, on our way to Aaron McKenna's, and there's always this long line. A lot of people having a good time, drinking their beer. But yeah, not really the place I'm taking my kids yet. At least not for the nightlife stuff yet. They want their pizza. They want to go all the way to Disney at a chain restaurant. Whatever makes them happy, and I can get by buying everyone a pizza for $35, so I can't really.
So Nina, what are your Disney goals for 2021? And what are you going to do with your channel? Or are you making any adjustments to your channel?
My adjustments are probably going to be these lives. So we have been doing the lives. Nick and I have been doing the lives since August, and we love doing them. But I think we're at the point where we need to decide if we keep doing them as is, if we switch them up a bit. So Nick and I are going to try to do once a month and see how that goes. Just because we're not getting as much feedback as we originally thought. And now we think maybe it's because people aren't traveling as much right now. So maybe as travel continues, because we're really trying to help you guys, to help you plan your trips. And we love doing these. So I think the lives are going to be something a little bit that's changing. What did you want to say, Nick?
No, I'm just shaking my head in agreement. You can't hear the rattle, unfortunately.
Oh, otherwise my channel is pretty much going to be the same. I always vlog our trips, and in between our trips, lots of tips and tricks of things. And, being a travel agent that specializes in Disney, I have a lot of insight that not everyone has. So I, of course, will be posting that stuff as well. As far as Disney goes, I think the husband and I really would just love for the kids to branch out. They are, like Bridget says, they stick to the same rides over and over again. They've kind of become ride chickens unnecessarily. And I would love to see them take their dad on a coaster. Dad wants to go on coasters so bad.
Poor guy.
And the ride
chickens hang out with me.
Yeah, totally. And the ride chickens are just like, not now. Next time. And even though we threaten them with, we're not going back to Disney unless you try a new ride. So I would love to see the ride chickens kind of branch out. And I like everyone else, I want Disneyland to come back. I want Disney Cruise Line to come back. I do have 2 cruises on the books. One is completely paid for. It was my 40th birthday cruise that I have pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. It is fully paid for. It is booked, and I want it to happen so I can finally celebrate being 40, which happened a while ago. But yeah, I'm just hoping things come back. So I think that's what we all want. Awesome. I'm glad we're helpful, Mike. So right now the goal is to keep the lives. We just might be doing once a month. I'm hoping business increases for me, which will not allow me to do this every week. And Nick is busy too. Little man, as he gets older, is going to get into more and more mischief, which is going to. What'd you say, Bridget?
I was reading Hannah's comment.
Bribery. We've tried bribery. You guys want to hear a funny story that maybe is not so funny that actually makes me a bad mom, kind of, sort of? So 7 Dwarf Mine Train just came out. So of course I had to go, right? I don't do coasters. I have motion sickness, but I always say I will try it once. The daughter was 5. She was 100% of height. She has done a few rides before. She was like, yeah, let's go. So I got fast passes for everyone. We were totally going to go. It was a thing. We were all excited. And then we get to Magic Kingdom and she sees it. I'm like,
never let them watch.
I'm like, you can't do this. And I wasn't purposely trying to get her to watch, but when you get in the line, you see it and she's freaking out. Well, anyway, there was this stuffed animal she really, really wanted. Well, if you ride the ride with mommy and sit right next to mommy and hold your hand, I'll get you the plush Minnie Mouse or whatever it was. So of course she's like, all right, let's go. Well, she rode right next to me. We have it all on video, thanks to Memory Maker. We're in the front row and we're holding hands. We're practically turning green in the video. None of us lost our food. But let's just say I had to be wheelchaired out of the ride.
Oh.
My motion sickness was so bad, it upset my equilibrium that I couldn't even walk.
Oh, wow.
So I had to be wheelchaired out. Disney's freaking out, security, medical. And my husband's just like beyond embarrassed. He's like, she just needs a Sprite and a Mickey pretzel and that'll fix it.
I don't know who she is.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it traumatized the daughter who has ridden it since, but not, again, so anyway, I bribed my daughter into riding this ride with me to get her plush, which yes, she got, only to experience mommy getting wheelchaired out of the ride.
That's okay. Guess what? It's a memory. That's not being a bad mom.
And we have it on video and you see us starting in the ride because, they do the ride videos of 70. So we're starting out like happy, and then towards the end, we're both just like this, and we're green, and it's beautiful.
That's me on Tower of Terror.
Oh, my wife hates Tower of Terror. And it's my favorite ride.
My fiance and I went on it right after we started dating. And I was like, I haven't done it in years, but it'll be fine. Now, when I used to do it, it was 3 drops and 3 drops only. I can count.
Not the randomizer.
Up and down, up and down.
Giggle like a schoolboy the entire time.
I gotta see if I can find this photo for y'all because, when I say the photo is me in the photo, I'm saying, please don't make me do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I gotta find it for you guys. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah, so we all have our little stories. I will tell you, as a travel agent, I tell my guests this story, maybe not to so much detail, but I usually warn them because people will think because their child is the correct height that their child can go on the ride. And I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That is hilarious. That's what I was saying earlier, is just because your child is of the height does not mean they are mature enough to go on the ride.
As a parent, I actually had a client do this. It was one of my first clients I've ever had. It was 100,000 years ago. her son was so excited. We're going to go to Disney. We're going to ride all the rides. We're going to do all these things. They went to Magic Kingdom first, and she didn't listen to me, and she booked them a fast pass for Space Mountain. First ride her son has ever been on. They had a week-long trip at a deluxe hotel costing lots and lots of money. Space Mountain did not work out so well for her son. He refused to ride rides for the rest of the trip. They spent the entire trip in line for characters and shopping. He now refuses to go back to Disney ever again. So I tell this story as well because you need to work your children up to whatever point you want them at. And even if as mom and dad, you want to ride Tower of Terror and daughter and son are tall enough for Tower of Terror, just do rider swap. Do not coax them into something intense and crazy because it could backfire to certain situations. Luckily, my daughter was only traumatized this much. Not as bad as my client's son, who now refuses to do any ride, any coaster, any theme park ever. Lucky for her, the trip was with grandma, so shopping the entire time was not too terrible.
See, that's my worry is little man is going to actually start at some point getting scared of Haunted Mansion.
Oh, Hannah.
Oh, no.
Is it the people jumping out, or is it not the people, the things jumping out, Hannah?
You mean the graveyard scene where they
whoop? That scene still gets me.
So our
Did you ever find Nemo?
Our first Disney trip that we took when my daughter was, I think she was 3. So it wasn't her first trip, but it was her trip where she really kind of knew what was going on. And I was pregnant with kid number 2. But it was her first time on Haunted Mansion. And the husband was like, you can't take her on this. It's way too scary. And I was like, no, it's not. He's like, it's 100% way too scary. What he didn't know is I was training her for Haunted Mansion. So anytime we would go for a car ride or anything, I would play Grim Grinning Ghosts. And then there is a video called Disney's Happy Haunts or something. It's like kids from the 80s who ride Haunted Mansion and they sing happy songs and whatever. So I'm showing her this DVD over and over again. I am playing Grim Grinning Ghosts in the car constantly. So our first time, Haunted Mansion, dad is freaking out. Oh my gosh, this is going to be terrible. She's going to cry. She's going to scream. It's going to embarrass us. She actually holds his hand in the middle of the elevator scene and tells him, Dad, it's okay. I got you. She's singing Grim Grinning Ghosts. And then when the scream happens, she screams with the scream. So you never know.
Now, that's something I would love to see on video.
Yeah. And that was, of course, before my YouTube days. And I'm pregnant and I'm just trying to convince my husband that everything's going to be okay. Meanwhile, she's totally got it under control, her and her 3-year-oldness. She might not even have been 3. She might have been almost 3. And it is her favorite ride today, Haunted Mansion. So you got to train them. Oh, my son, for the first time this past trip, opened his eyes during Haunted Mansion. He's 8. He's been closing his eyes this entire time.
Oh, wow.
I guess I don't get it. I love that ride so much.
I would say little man actually dances Little man dances to Grim Grinning Ghosts every morning.
Cute.
Yep.
You have to train the scariness out of them, but that doesn't exactly help. I mean, it worked for Haunted Mansion because it's not a coaster. I'm not sure how you do that for a Tower of Terror coaster, but you build up to the point. Don't make that your kid's first ride ever. Little lesson there. So yeah, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for watching these lives with us. Thank you for commenting. You're definitely the reason we keep doing this. But like I said, Nick and I are going to take a little break. We're going to do this once a month, see how that goes. If we get a bunch of feedback, then we might bring it back every week. But I think as hopefully work gets busy for me and Nick's definitely busy with little man, we're going to see how once a month goes. So please stay tuned. I think we decided we're going to do this the first Wednesday of every month. So we will be back next week with a whole new subject at hand. Feel free to comment on these videos, guys, and let us know what subjects you want us to discuss. So it will be where we still stop and help you guys plan your vacations, but starting out, we do like to have a subject at hand. So yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to all the channels. Thank you for liking the video and commenting and being a part of our day. We started this in 2020 because of COVID. We didn't know what was going on. We thought we would try these lives. And yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride with us. What did you want to say, Nick?
No, just Happy New Year. Hannah said that as well. We're going into a new year, and let's all hope that hopefully that hindsight has been 2020.
Just remember, when the clock strikes midnight, everyone needs to yell Jumanji so we get out of the game.
The other one that I've heard is everyone needs to flush their toilet to flush it all away.
Or leave their doors open.
I've heard that one too. It's too cold where I am.
It's like an Irish tradition or something.
But with that being said, I think we'll do our final goodbyes of the year. So I guess I'll start. We'll see you real soon.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. And this is Bridget's Buzz.
Thanks again so much, guys. Have a wonderful beginning to your 2021. And like I said, please subscribe to all the channels and stick around. Like I said, we'll be here next week. And of course, it'll all be posted on my community tab. For those of you who don't know, my community tab, I post about the lives, and then I post polls, which I conveniently forget to mention during the lives because we're too busy chatting, having all this fun. But I do polls on my community tab. So yeah. You too, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that was a really long-winded goodbye. So mahalo for watching, guys. Nina out. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.